e ngā mana, e ngā rio, e ngā karanatanga maha, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Local teacher Ross Dunn takes the Supreme Award at the inaugural Creation Fest Awards Gala. New Zealand First candidate Fletcher Tabuto says 21 years after joining the party, he still backs leader Winston Peters. And MP Todd McClay says the latest stats show that fewer people are on welfare in Rotorua compared to 6 months ago. Local teacher Ross Dunn took the Supreme Award on Saturday night at the Creation Fest Gala Awards performance. Passion and creativity took centre stage at the historic Blue Baths, where top entrants from wearable art, short film and live performance categories were awarded for their creative offerings. Mr Dunn's legacy creation is his 5th foray into the wearable event, and last night saw him awarded his 3rd Supreme Award. Other big news from the Creation Fest Gala was the announcement that Sir Peter Jackson would be involved in the short film section at next year's event. Creation Fest film coordinator John Callan says his involvement almost guarantees the film section will be bigger and better. For a full rundown of Creation Fest winners, visit creationfest.co.nz. Local teacher and economist Fletcher Tabuto has put his hand up to represent New Zealand First in the Rotorua electorate in the general election. Mr Tabuto has been a long-time member of the party and has stood for them in the past. He says his association with New Zealand First stems from his belief in leader Winston Peters.
I'll tell you what, I've been with the party from the start, which is 21 years, and I've grown as an individual, gone on and done my own thing, and doing really well in the education sector at the moment. But he's one of the few people that I can still look up to, because I tell you what, he's still one of the smartest operators out there.
He likes to stir things out, doesn't he?
And that's the other thing. You know, I don't work the same way, but he loves to stir it up, but he's always backs it up with the knowledge. He's done the research, he knows what he's talking about. And for me, yeah, he's just a smart operator.
Mr Tabuto says youth and education will be major platforms in his campaign.
I've particularly got a platform around youth, because that's where my experience is. 10 years in education, a couple of years up at the tertiary institution, and a lot of time working with youth engagement in the workplace.
Fewer people in Rotorua are on welfare compared to 6 months ago, a result of better support for people to find work and more jobs becoming available in the city, says local MP Todd McClay. The latest benefit figures released today show the number of people on welfare for the June quarter has reduced 7.1% since December, with 549 less people receiving benefits overall. Mr McClay says these are good results and show that local people are benefiting from the government's focus on welfare reform, as well as initiatives like the recently launched Rotorua Māori and Pacifica Trades Training Scheme, as well as the government's Youth Guarantee Scheme, which were providing opportunities for local people to learn essential skills. The Rotorua Children's Choir from Uganda will visit Rotorua on Wednesday to share their stories as part of their New Generation tour. The Rotorua concert is taking place at the Harvest Apostolic Church on Melfroy Road.
I know we have a lot of hardship in our own country, but when you hear the stories of these children, it really sort of puts it in perspective, I think. So I think, you know, anybody in our community that's maybe thinking, boy, it's tough, they'll certainly be inspired and encouraged by these kids, and challenged too, I think. So yeah, so it's a story of their devastation turning, or tragedy turning, into triumph or into hope, and so that message that comes through, you know, is a real it's a real blessing to be able to have them here.
In sport tonight, Whakarewarewa are through to the final in the Baywide Premier Rugby competition after a thriller win over Tauranga on Saturday. The locals came from behind to take the win and progress to the final. Mount Maunganui also recorded a shock win in the other semi-final, defeating favourites Te Puke 35-20. That result means the Mount and Whakarewarewa will meet in the grand final on Saturday in Tauranga. Kick-off is at 2:45 p.m. And plans for a third successive Super Rugby title are over for the Chiefs after their 30-32 loss to the Brumbies in Canberra on Saturday. Despite the loss, the Chiefs management, coaching staff and players say they will continue to look ahead to the 2015 season. To your weather update. tonight, fine spells with a chance of showers, southwesterlies and an overnight low of -2. For tomorrow, Tuesday, mainly fine with morning frosts, southwest breezes, a high of 8 and a low of 0. And the outlook for Wednesday, mainly fine with the chance of showers, southwest breezes, a high of 11 and a low of -1. And the marine weather forecast for Lake Rotorua, southwest rising to 20 knots in the morning with waves up to half a metre, fine weather. Remember, for program listings or to watch City News again, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz. You can also see updates on our TV Rotorua Facebook page. Still to come in the show tonight, we check out the new bike wash facilities at the Holiday Inn. We're at Rainbow Springs to check out the Junior Keeper program with Mark Patterson, and we cover last week's Bay of Plenty Rugby Union School holiday program.
Kia ora everybody, it's my pleasure to be joined now by our local MP Todd McLeay. Kia ora Todd.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. So you're always out and about, you're always up to something. What are you up to today?
Well, today we're at the Holiday Inn opening a mountain bike wash facility. And now it doesn't sound that big, I suppose, but cycling is really important to our local economy. You know that a little while ago, as well as being Minister of Revenue, the Prime Minister asked me to be Associate Minister of Tourism. So I've had an opportunity over the last 3 or 4 months to learn a lot more about tourism, what works, what's important. And I have a view. Tourism is about jobs. If it doesn't matter why somebody comes to Rotorua, as long as they're spending money when they're here in the shops, in the supermarkets, in the hotels, it's good for all of us and it creates local jobs. So cycling is very important to our local economy. We get a lot of cyclists come here for mountain biking, or the cycleway that I got $3 million from government for a few years ago and we built, it's going to be a growth industry and area for us. So we're really pleased to be here today with the Holiday Inn, who have decided to invest a bit of their money in providing facilities for cyclists so they enjoy themselves and so they'll come back and spend more money here.
Well, it's always wonderful to see Rotorua growing, and I know I've interviewed Todd a few times over the years, and I've been into his office a few times, and he's got this great big wall there plastered with all kinds of photos of all of the predicaments that he's been in. So tell us what some of the highlights have been for you.
Well, it would be really hard to pick one, but I suppose if I think about, so 6 years ago I stood against our current Mayor Steve Chadwick. She was the MP then and was a Cabinet Minister and was quite humble to win with a majority of 5,000 votes. And I think I learned a lot about people during that 7 or 8 or 9 months of campaigning. And it taught me that the job of an MP is about people. So, there will be MPs that you might think of and say, well, it always seems to be about them. I think we're quite lucky we haven't had any like that in Rotorua. But for me, being a Member of Parliament, the best part of the job is to be part of the local community, to be able to work on some really great things that people here collectively want to do for Rotorua, and then to take their voice to Wellington, and that's a responsibility I take very seriously. Look, I was pleased 3 years ago to be re-elected and did a bit of work. My majority increased by 45%, so it went up to almost 7,500. And actually somebody said, well, that's huge. It's one of the largest majorities anybody has ever had in Rotorua. You've done a good job. And I said to them, well, that was about the job I did before, not about what I'm going to do next. So my focus is very much on making this a great place to live, making it safer, making sure there's lots of opportunity for people so that when my 4 children grow up, they have the choice to stay here or to go somewhere else. It's about a choice, but that opportunity will be here for them and that they're treated very well and that everybody that lives in Rotorua is a part of our community.
And I need to say, just on a personal level, Todd, that you've really supported me in what I've done over the years. Now, some of you may know that I'm a bit of an environmental campaigner, and before I was ever in television, before I was ever a trained journalist, someone called Todd for me and they said, look Todd, there's this girl, she's picking up rubbish, you need to support her. And so thank you Todd, because right from the beginning Todd has supported me, so I am very grateful for that and I appreciate it.
Well, look, it was really easy to help actually. A lot of the job of being an MP is bringing people together and facilitating. So, the environment is very important to us in Rotorua, and no more so for me. I spend time out in the outdoors. I like fishing, I like hunting, I do a bit of mountain biking occasionally now. Don't mind walking in some of our forests, but it's not enough just to say it's there. We've got to protect it, but also make sure there's opportunity from it. So that's why mountain biking has been quite important. Was really pleased over the last 3 years to work closely with farmers and water environmentalists, the Lakes Water Quality Society, to stop a 10-year battle, a 10-year fight over what we need to do to help clean up Lake Rotorua. And they joined with me and reached agreement, a milestone agreement to work together to support farming but to clean up the lake, and then to go further and to help broker an agreement between the regional council and the farmers on what actually they should be doing. And this took a legal battle that had been in the Environment Court for almost 10 years out of the court. Not only have they reached agreement, they are working collaboratively now, and the quality of the water in Lake Rotorua is improving. And so I was just able to build support with both sides. So, there's actually a long list of things I've been really fortunate to be involved in and help achieve. Haven't got time to go through them all now, but the great thing about elections every 3 years is you get to remember what you've done, remind people, but talk about what's next.
Just about the elections, there's going to be 3 weeks prior to election date where people can cast a vote. So how are you going to navigate that time?
Well, so people can, I think it's from the 3rd of September, they're allowed to go and cast a special vote. And so this is really for people who are likely to be away, could be overseas, or it would be difficult on the day. And ultimately, my view of being a local MP, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And so the campaign, which has kicked off, but probably 2 more weeks of Parliament and then it really will be full on, is about engaging with people, telling them a bit more about my values. For many of them, reminding them of why they supported me in the past and working hard to show them I deserve their support for another 3 years. I've never thought this would be a job for me for life, but every 3 years I'll make the case to the people of Rotorua of what I've achieved and what more I want to do, and I'll ask them to vote for me.
Kia ora, Todd. Very good to hear. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Well, I'm joined now by the General Manager of the Holiday Inn, Kent Breeze. Kia ora, Kent.
Hello.
So, tell me about what you've got set up here. Something for the tourists, something to keep them coming to Rotorua and keep them at the Holiday Inn.
Absolutely. We did some strategy work on what people need in town, and with our proximity to the forest, we realised there was a need for some wash environments for mountain bikes and also some storage facilities, so we built those at the hotel.
Nice. So how many mountain bikers would you get coming through on a yearly basis? Do you know those stats?
No, we don't know those stats because people come here for various reasons, but we do know that it's a growth market, and we do know that it's a good time to get into the mountain bike environment, so we're really excited about it.
So why did you do this?
We realised that there was an opportunity in the market for people. They need to, while they're in Rotorua, they want to store their bike somewhere. They want their bike to be clean, so when they drive home it doesn't have mud and things all over it, and it gives people the opportunity to really experience the other attractions in Rotorua as well as the mountain biking.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, kia ora everybody, I'm at Rainbow Springs with Mark Patterson. He is the head wildlife keeper here, a man of many talents, does many jobs, and at the moment what he's doing is shaping the next generation of wildlife experts with the Junior Keeper program. Kia ora, Mark.
Kia ora.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing. We've got some beautiful young people in the background here. We've walked in on you taking the class.
Yep.
What are you doing?
We've got a bunch of kids. So we ran a program at Rainbow Springs for 3 different age groups. So 7 to 9 year olds, 10 to 12 year olds and 13 to 16, which is a little bit more advanced. It's a day course. The older kids are a 2-day course, and they cover everything off from learning about reptiles to environments and hands-on stuff like actually handling animals, making enrichment items and going out into the park with the animals.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is very cool. How important is it to train our young people for this kind of stuff?
It's really important. There's not a lot of programs out there, and we try and make this a really educational program, but environments are changing, habitats are changing, and if we can start at the grassroots, hopefully some of these guys will go away and be a little bit more inspired and maybe make a difference in their own community as well.
Wonderful. So tell me about some of the animals that you're talking about, that they're learning about.
Yeah, everything. We cover not just native and endemic species to New Zealand, we try and cover everything to give them a broad range of knowledge. So we talk about specialised adaptations. So if we look at a water dragon, for example, its tail's elongated, helps it to swim. Long toes, which means he can climb trees. And we show them differences. But then we deal with a lot of our native species as well. So we go out and talk about the tuatara, for example. Global warming's warming up. And their eggs are temperature-dependent sex. So as it gets warmer, we're going to end up with more males than females, for example.
So it's absolutely crucial, isn't it, that we get our younger generations following this and caring about this young. So it's in their blood when they get to adulthood, and they're making decisions about what they're going to do with their lives and how they're going to influence the youth.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys that have come on the program, they already have that innate interest anyway, so they're keen to do something, and this is a good start for them. And I think the education side's not just about the environment, but being a keeper means a whole lot of things. So we've got all the legislative requirements, like we work with DOC and vets and MAF and all those guys, SPCA and what have you. So they learn the whole lot. And then the reality check is most of the job's picking up poo. So you're out in the enclosures and there's a lot of cleaning. So I think that's the biggest reality check for them.
And I guess that's where love comes into it, doesn't it, with every parent?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We're going to follow them now for a little while during the day, see what they're doing. Thank you so much for having us along for the ride.
Thanks
awesome.
for coming.
Well, it's time to talk to some of the kids now, some of the leaders for tomorrow and the ones that are going to be looking after the environment we leave behind. Jack, what are you making?
I'm making an enrichment. It's probably going to be a novel enrichment. And so it's got a whole heap of this spungen moss stuff, which I reckon the birds will like, and it's in here, and so the birds will have to try rip it out.
Okay, so what have you put inside?
This spungen moss.
And I think you were allowed a peanut each, eh?
Yeah.
So is there a peanut hiding in there somewhere?
No, we forgot to put the peanut in.
Oh, well, the birds are going to feel a little bit let down. They're going to get all in there, and then there's no peanut there. You might have to poke a peanut in there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Have you been enjoying it? Yeah, it's good, eh? There's your peanut.
Yeah.
Your business partner just handed you the peanut. Or there's some others there. So we'll move around here. How are you enjoying it, babes? Sophie? Good? Is it one of the best things you've done on your school holidays? Very cool, eh? And you've got a pretty neat teacher. He's good, eh? He is really good. So what are you making?
A toy where they could drag it across.
Cool, and it'll make lots of different sounds, I guess.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping that they're going to do when they get it? Put their beak in it?
Yeah.
And drag it around the enclosure?
Yeah.
Nice. Maxwell, what are you making, Maxwell?
I'm making a ball out of wire, and we're going to tie it onto this, and we're going to pull it around in the enclosure, and they're going to hopefully jump on it and try to get the peanuts inside.
Oh, there's a peanut in there. You put the peanut in?
Yeah.
Nice, you used your peanut there, mate. Good one. What about you, hun? What are you doing?
We're working together on this.
All right, so you're throwing the end of the rope there, going to tie it up?
Finished.
Very cool. And girls, I'm going to reach over the table here. DJ and Courtney, what are you guys making?
We're making
A food toy area.
Food toy area.
Yeah.
So where is the peanut going to go?
We've got quite a few peanuts.
Oh, yeah, they're going to like your toy.
So we're going to
Put either padding or food on the sides and food or padding in the middle. I'm thinking of having something to lift up half a cup, because we're going to cut it in half again, and put food in the middle and put on the outside the padding.
Nice.
And down the bottom is going to be bottle caps to play with. And I've only just got an idea that we could do on both sides and then one in the middle. And I tie a pine cone at the bottom. And then either hook a pine cone underneath to go like that, just to chew on or something like that.
Nice, honey. And that's it. Well, if you have children that you would like to turn into budding environmentalists and people that really care about the environment and care about the animals, then the Rainbow Springs Kids Workshop, the Junior Keeper program, and some of the other ones that they've got are the place to be. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, during the school holidays, the Bay of Plenty Rugby Union have been holding training camps all around the Bay, and for the last couple of days they've been down here at Rotorua Primary School. And with me today is Mark Roberts, the man behind the scenes. Having a good holidays there, Mark, with all these kids?
We are indeed. It's been awesome. Yeah, the weather's come out, so it's been a good time. Very much so.
So I mentioned that these rugby camps have been all around the Bay. So whereabouts have you guys been?
So we started out in Tauranga, Western Bay. We held it there at the Bay Park area, and then we at the start of this week we were in Whakatane at Rugby Park there for a couple of days, having a good time, which is good.
And now you've come home to spend a couple of days here.
yeah, of course, of course. Come back to Rotorua, it's been awesome.
So obviously at a rugby training camp, it's all about rugby. What sort of skill sets are you teaching these kids?
Yeah, so we usually try to incorporate a bit of like tackle technique, especially if we do games which involve a little bit of contact. It's good to kind of put that stuff in there. So we do a bit of usually a bit of tackle stuff, a bit of ball handling. And just the basics, but we try to have fun, that's the main thing.
Well, it's sort of going to be fun because I look at the age out here, they're pretty young.
Yeah, there's certainly a range, but there's definitely some keen youngsters amongst it, so we try to mix it up, make it applicable to all.
Now I'm just having a look over your shoulder, Mark, there's a couple of girls out there, that's got to be awesome, for especially for local rugby.
Oh, without a doubt, and I often find that they're the most keen out of all of them, so they're pretty excited little youngsters, yeah.
Now, is this training camp, does this sort of thing happen regularly in the holidays from the Bay of Plenty Rugby Union?
Yeah, so we generally run them at each holidays. So we ran one obviously in the Term 1 holidays earlier in the year. Yep, so myself, Johan Baro and Tanya Humstone will run, sort of co-run them in each area, yeah.
Now the two boys behind us kicking the ball, are they Steamers?
Bo was last year, so they were both part of our high performance program, and so they've got plenty of experience playing at the moment playing club rugby. Yeah, so they've been pretty awesome. Yeah.
See any future All Blacks in there?
Oh, who knows? There's certainly some talent here. But who knows? Maybe.
Now, when we were coming down here, you guys were up at the aquatic centre just before we jumped on to do the interview. What were you doing up there?
We did a little bit of a little bit of activity with the kids at the pool, just some pool sessions. Often rugby teams will do that, so it's just a good vibe. And then we just give them a bit of free time. The main thing is just give them a bit of a fun experience, it's just sort of mix it up and kind of break the day so the kids aren't getting too sort of bored or anything like that,
Now, after term 3, at the next school holidays, if mum and dad at home are wanting to get their kids involved in this sort of rugby program, how can they do it?
The best way would be to directly communicate with Bay Plenty Rugby Union, so whether you get on the website or flick an email through to myself, that would be the easiest way, and otherwise probably looking on Facebook, social media. We try to get information through the radio and through newspaper, that sort of thing, but generally that's the best point of call, is just to call directly to the union and maybe to the Facebook social network.
Is there a cost to the training camps?
The holiday programs? Yep, this is $20 a day. So yeah.
Hey there, what's your name?
Mila.
Yeah, and what school do you go to?
Kahara School.
So you've been having fun at the rugby training camp?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you like about rugby?
I really like how we tackle rugby. You get to have a go at the boys.
Yeah. You like tackling the boys?
Yeah.
Hey young fella, what's your name?
My name's Rome.
And what school do you go to, Rome?
I go to Kahara School.
Yep. And what's your favourite thing that you've learned here at the training camps?
How to tackle properly.
Yeah, so you like tackling too, eh?
Yep. Yeah.
So what's your goal? What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to become an All Black.
That was Alan Solomon talking there with some of our future rugby stars at the Bay of Plenty Rugby Union's holiday program last week at Rotorua Primary School. If you have any news to share with us, give the station a call on 07 3488 984, or you can email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. And don't forget to watch the show again, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. Nō reira, noho oro mai koutou, I raro I te manakitanga o te atua. Ko Maria Rotorua.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand.